We forgot the stands. We're gonna try the mantle.
Well, that's a good idea. So
That was Kimberly's idea.
So no one has to watch sideways. Okay.
But how do we know?
But it's
Because
working.
you have to stand right there and over here.
Oh, I threw away. Right, we're going to be moving.
But they'll hear his voice.
Lisa, good evening. I know we have some people that need to leave early. Thank you for coming. I need to ask if the format last time and our time last time was beneficial for you. So we're going to take step 2 of that journey tonight. Is that, Mary, thank you so much. Oh my God, bless you. Well, I left other stuff in there, but I'm not going to ask you again. Yes. I'd like to open with a psalm of ascent. One of the reasons you go on a pilgrimage is to read Scripture a different way. There are a subsection of Psalms in the Psalter, Psalms 120 through 134. They were used 120, Psalms 120 through 134, are called the Psalms of Ascent. You always go up to Jerusalem. Have you ever noticed that? No matter where you are, north, south, east, or west, we always go up to Jerusalem. Geographically, that's true. Theologically, spiritually, that's also true. And so these psalms are pilgrim psalms. And about this time, I would like to ask you to start reading them. And because they're going to come back to us, we're going to be citing and using them. They're going to mean something very different by the time we return. Psalms 120 to 134. I was glad when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." Now our very feet are standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built like a city that is unified, each part with itself. Pilgrims never been to Jerusalem before. To which all the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, the assembly of Israel, to praise the name of the Lord. Oh, look, there are the thrones of judgment. There is David's throne, right over there. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls. Quietness within your towers. For my brethren and companions' sake who I'm traveling with, I pray for your prosperity. Because of the house of the Lord our God, which we're looking right at, I will seek to do you good. It's just Psalm 122. It's a pilgrim's psalm. So I'm here to seek to do you good. We're going to live that psalm step by step. Psalms 120 through 134. They're pilgrim psalms. The Psalms of Ascent is the technical name. Friends, good evening and welcome to pre-gathering number 2. I can't believe anybody came back. So exciting that you did. We've had a little audience participation since the last time we gathered. I'd love to hear from you. Keep the emails, the texts, the phone calls, the comments at the coffee shop and at coffee hour and during Bible study and after Bible study and in the parking lot, and keep them coming. I love them. I want to continue to thank Kathy and Happy. And I want to introduce a small side note. If you don't know, we do have other staff members of our church, but not on the trip. Everybody with me? Not on the trip. But I do want you to know who they are. Margie Chacho, of course, our long-tenured parish administrator. Mary Cotton, back from her master's degree study in Baltimore, our director of children's ministry. Kimberly Brewster is here, our parish bookkeeper and one of our leaders in mission and outreach. Gosh, we could go Denise Delaney here, our director of pastoral care for ECOT, our church, and chaplain at the Vale Health. Gosh, we've got Sue Mitchell here, our vestry clerk. Lots and lots, former senior wardens. Barb Hogaboom, for instance. Lots and lots of people. But anyway, just pilgrims on the trip. Our team here continues to be Happy and Kathy and myself, Hananiah, our leader, our guide, and Ginny at the office of,
Hanania.
Hanania. Did I say Hananiah? Okay, cut that part out of the video. It's Hanania. Everybody help me with that, right? Hanania. Oh boy. Okay. Want to just take you here. We've had a lot of logistical questions. Now I know most of you are world travelers, but for those of us that aren't, I just want to talk through things. What's your plane plan?
Get on the plane.
Get on the plane.
Get there in plenty of time.
I just want to take a stop. I just want to take a moment and ponder our plane plan. Because as we ponder our plane plan, we come across some things. I don't know how you roll on a plane. But when you travel as a group on a plane, it's different than traveling by oneself. Okay? If, for instance, if no one knows we take that sweet little pill in the bathroom and we wake up 14 hours later, people were going to be very concerned about your well-being and so forth. If you're the kind of person that always sleeps on the plane, I want you to sleep on the plane. I want you to do what is comfortable. Does anybody have those little donuts that go around your neck? The sweetest thing I've ever done on a plane is to buy one of those donuts and put them around my neck and slide gently onto the shoulder of the person sitting next to me. If we never sleep on a plane, please sit next to somebody else that doesn't sleep on a plane. And you can talk to your heart's content. If you wander on a plane, I'm a wanderer on the plane. Yeah. I become the plane chaplain. I kind of check in with people, you know, up and down the aisle. If you're like that, not everybody may want to visit with you on a plane. So it's a long plane ride. I just want to make sure everybody has a plane plan. Do you know how you're getting to the airport? Do you know where to meet? I will say, in Kathy and Happy's defense, I'm going in advance. I'm going to be at the airport. I'm going to stay at the hotel in Tel Aviv the night before you get there. I'm going to reconnoiter and all that. When Jamie Wren became our senior warden, I really hope now I'm saying this, the person that said this isn't in the room. When Jamie Wren became our senior warden, she came to the veil service. Senior warden is our lay leader of our church, my partner in leadership. And at the coffee hour after the veil service, someone came up and said, "Are you our new senior warden?" And Jamie said, "Yes." And the person said, "Oh, you're the person we complained to." And Jamie said, "No, no, no. Okay? Kathy and Happy are not responsible for how the plane flies, what meal you're being served. Okay? We're pilgrimage leaders, you know. Also, if it gets bumpy, we're all praying the same prayer. So it's part of the experience, but can everybody have ponder a plane plan? Some sleep before, and I'm saying this to myself, would be awfully helpful. Awfully helpful. Rest and so forth. Plane plan. What's your bus plan? Oh, we've heard the lamentation. Gosh, this is a big group. Now, no one from Texas has said this. Because in Texas, 51 people are nothing. I mean, it's amazing it's not 2,000 people. Can you imagine the 3 or 4 bus church trip to the Holy Land? Yeah, you don't want to, right? So we have one bus. Despite rumors, it's one bus. It's probably going to be a pretty decently large bus. It's going to be a full bus. What's our bus plan?
You're on time.
Bus plan is to be on time. Bus plan is you didn't buy a seat. It ain't yours. If you get there, you can sit somewhere else. We have had recently a parishioner leave a service because they didn't get the seat selection they desired. And I'm so sorry I wasn't there to say, "I'm sorry, the platinum seating is out." But, God's going to find you in that 8th row. He is. Our bus plan, can we kind of trade around so everybody gets a window seat? That's kind of cool, isn't it? Everybody gets a window seat.
Well, and talk to other people, mix it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the newly married on my last trip, I was unprepared for the last 3 days when all of our married couples stopped getting along. And they intentionally started sitting in different places in the bus, and I was shocked by this. Because, you want to spend 11 days with your spouse straight, every minute. It's such a beautiful gift. I was told, behind a woodshed or two, that perhaps we might want a little diversity in our bus seating arrangements. Because, quote, I haven't spent this much time with that son of a blank since our honeymoon, close quote. So we may want to just kind of shuffle around the bus and so forth. Those little donuts that we wear on the plane, they actually work really well on the bus as well. It's going to be a full bus. We've already heard a complaint or two about the number of people coming. And then the very same people or other people have said, thank God there was a space for me. So friends, I want us to be gentle about this, okay? One bus, that was our thing all the way along. I'm lucky to be going, you're lucky to be going, we're all lucky to be going.
Yes.
Can we just be gentle on the bus? Okay? And look, my wife is not coming. I can be a sit-in spouse. I'm happy to sit with you or the spouse that you're frustrated with, and so forth. Okay? So we can just play. There are lots of us that can move around. We had a concern about health on the bus.
It's a good body.
So you do know the person on the airplane that coughs all the way back to the back seat, and then coughs. And prayer just really kind of gets excited when you're in a plane or a bus. It's a good idea to bring hand sanitizer. And if you're a germaphobe, like, you're going to have a rough time on this trip. But anyway, if the hand lotion, very good idea, and masks. Not all of us wearing masks. If you happen to be sick, we might designate the sicky seat. Didn't you have that growing up in your car, the sicky seat?
No.
And you didn't have that?
No.
Oh, really?
No sicky seat.
Oh, no, there's always a sicky seat, usually up in the front of the bus, just for a really rapid exit. So anyway, so the sicky seat, we may designate that. And we might bring some masks if you're sick. Obviously, we'll know that. We want to help you. We want you to be safe and comfortable. But we might ask you to wear a mask, just so the rest of us don't get the sicky seat as well.
I can bring some veil health masks.
Can you bring some veil health masks?
That'd be great.
There you go.
Denise, thank you very much.
Connection.
What's our longest bus ride?
I have no idea. That's an excellent
Is
question.
it just an hour or 2 hours? It can't be very long.
I think, so the whole state of Israel is smaller than the state of New
Yeah,
Hampshire.
yeah. So
I think the longest jump we might make is from the Dead Sea Hotel up to the Galilee. We're going up the spine of the country. And we have to bow out for reasons I'll get to in a little bit. But that might be the longest bus jump that we have.
And
It's not that. Now, I'm a youth minister. Has anybody traveled with middle school youth across the country on a bus? No one's going to touch me. And by the way, if it smells bad, it's not the long jumps that I'm worried about. It's the 4th time everybody has to get on the bus.
that day.
Yes. I have been asked by one person, is this a bus tour? Friends, I need to tell you something. We will be using a bus. Yes. Let me go back to our previous comment about meltdown. I know you see motorcycles in Israel. They're very popular. Yeah, you can't do that. Okay? Meet me in Galilee. That's not going to work for us. Okay? So we do have to kind of use the bus. But what's your bus plan? Right? And if you need to introvert out, we'll have introvert section. Experimental spouse section. We'll have extroverts talking over here, and we'll have the sicky seat, and everybody will be happy. Okay? By the way, does everybody have music on your phone? Yes. Do what your grandchildren or your kids do. put your earbuds on and ignore us and turn on the Bravo concert that you missed. That's a wonderful way to travel by bus, by the way. Okay, bus plan. Let's go to timeout. I really am serious about this. This is the time to review the agenda and kind of say, when am I going to run out of gas? We will all run out of gas. Rick Steve says build in some rest times. If you want to build in a rest day, not a day when we're changing hotels, but within that, you know, it is perfectly fine, and we want you, I want you to take care of yourselves. If you're not up for it, give your feet a rest and don't come that morning or don't come that day. It's okay. It's okay. I want you to take care of yourself. What I don't want, obviously, is someone to hit what we call the leader timeout or the meltdown. We were talking about the meltdown up here. Meltdowns happen when we haven't slept enough, when we've maybe had alcohol the night before, and we get a message from Moses that we're supposed to stay in this particular site for 40 days and wait for the Lord. That's what we call a meltdown. Okay, we don't want that. I'm just telling you, they do come. If you feel yourself on the edge, take a break, take a day, take a morning. We'll figure it out, truly. Okay? I'd much rather have you do that, as Rick Steve says, and go the distance on the experience and be there towards the end.
So who's in charge? Like, if we are going to take a morning or an afternoon, would we tell Kathy or Happy?
Kathy or Happy or
Yeah.
myself, or preferably all three, yes.
Yeah, and we'll work it out and get you back in.
Yep. What is not helpful, I actually had this situation happen, is the introvert shutdown in the hotel room, and before cell phones, nobody knew where this person was. And it scared all of us to death.
Oh, yeah.
So please, just a nice note, we'll have cell phones, we'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, just one of us to know. If you're feeling sick, let us know. You know, I mean, that, Hanania needs to know that too.
Just a text.
Sure,
So that doesn't
Yeah,
have to
skip
be-
in the morning, I'm taking my time out,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. Everybody with me on that? Tchotchkes. What's your tchotchke plan? This can strain nuptial relationships and friendships. You don't want to be that person elbows out on the back row of the bus, carrying that sweet little thing, that brass thing that you bought, but hitting everybody's face. When you're a seminary student, you have no money. So when I was in Israel, I had no money. So I had to pack everything I bought. And I never thought about that until the end of the trip. We had a well-traveled couple. This is a true story. Don't worry about the names. In my previous church, we were in Amman, Jordan, flying back to Denver, Stapleton Airport. And the husband went through just fine, and the wife was stopped, and they pulled out a 1-foot scimitar, a curved Turkish blade that she had bought.
Oh my God. We do that in the world today.
Now, if you can imagine not only the joy of a husband finding out that his wife had wanted to surprise him with a sword, but further that they were on two sides of a very alerted security wall. I heard New York Bronx language I've never heard before in my life. If you're not a seminary and not have any money, there are beautiful things to buy in Israel. Beautiful things. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you have a list, make a plan of gifting that you want to do for family or friends. Olive wood from Bethlehem, which helps the Christian community in Bethlehem. Jewelry, gold, beautiful jewelry, ancient coins that are really authentic coins that are set in beautiful settings in the Jewish quarter in Jerusalem, in the old city of Jerusalem. Do you see those stitched stoles that Emily and I wear with the cross that looks like this? this is called the Jerusalem Cross. The Orthodox Church, the oldest church in Jerusalem, and the other 4 churches that constitute the Christian presence. You see those stoles? Those are hand-stitched stoles. They have hand-stitched everything. Scarves. These are Christian artisans. Beautiful. Brass. An oil lamp. Most everybody wants to score their oil lamp. And they're going to tell you it's authentic. And it looks authentic. And you're going to pay like it's authentic. Tchotchkes. Does everybody know the term? Little knick-knacky things or things that you want to buy. What is your tchotchke plan? Could you mail them home? We can do that, right? I would highly recommend mailing stuff home. All these hotels are nice places, and I'm not seminary anymore. If you want to buy stuff beautiful, just be advised that there's a lot to buy. You're going to be tempted. They know we're coming. They know you're from America. That,
Currency, when you have a moment, you talk about buying.
currency is the new
Dollars,
Israeli shekel,
shekels.
the NIS. I don't know what the current exchange rate is. Huh? 350. Charlie, give that to me. $1 equals 3.5 shekelim, or shekels. $1, Charlie's saying, equals 3.5 shekels. Now, since my wife deals with all of this, I'm going to have a money plan. It's my own plan, and I'm going to be responsible for myself the whole time. It's probably going to involve using an ATM machine, which were not available the last time I was in Israel. Because I believe, would everybody agree with this? You world travelers, would you agree that ATM machines probably give you some of the best exchange rates? Right? Okay.
You don't want to take any money.
There are somebody in the street called money changers. They actually exist. And they're going to change you money real close to where people are going to hit you up to buy stuff. By the way, your tchotchke plan should include people coming to you. That bus is very visible. They can see us coming. There are people on the Mount of Olives that have waves of sellers. Children, young adults, and old women. And they will work you for maps, necklaces, camel rides, food, everything. Friends, this is the modern Middle East. This is the ancient Middle East. This is the way it is. So I'm going to teach you a few words about that, but be advised that people know we're coming. And sometimes the tchotchkes come to you. Okay? So everybody think about your tchotchke plan. Let's talk about medical, finance, health, and journals. There is a great website, stgeorgescollege.org, I believe. It's where I worked and where I'm staying.
Saint spelled out.
St. George's College. I believe Saint is spelled out. It's an Anglican study college.
.org.
I believe .org. Would someone look it up for me and see what they have?
You don't have
St.
any
George's
reception.
College.
Yeah.
I know, you get it.
They have an excellent website. Let me see if I can get it here real quick.
I'm just trying to service back here. I don't either. Maybe he's on the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi.
If someone can get that for me, that would be great.
I can't get it. We have no Wi-Fi. We can't get. I can't get internet.
Okay.
You have Wi-Fi here? Well, I don't. Well, you probably connected.
St. George's College Jerusalem.com.
I get this.
St. George's, no apostrophe, College Jerusalem.com.
Okay, one option I see is Royal St. George's College.
St. George's.
St. GeorgesCollegeJerusalem.com.
Saint is spelled out.
Yes, it is. All smashed together, no apostrophes. They have an excellent list about what to bring, and money and health, and we haven't talked about this yet. Everybody should have some medical plan. Israeli hospitals are excellent, but just like here, they're going to ask you if we need to take you, what's your plan on payment and so forth. So you may want to check with your medical insurance to make sure that you're covered as you travel, right?
And Medicare will not work out of the country. And-
I don't know a thing about, okay. So,
Yeah,
She
no,
knows,
I
she's telling
can't
us.
believe that Medicare works out of the country.
That's true.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
you have to have your own,
Have to have
Plan.
something, yeah.
or you pay,
Um,
right, or
Did
you
you
take
get
it.
it?
I got it, St. George's College. Please, everybody, find your passport. Remember I said that in the email? Are people reading emails? Yeah, okay. Please make sure you have a medical plan. We talked about finance. I know you guys are very experienced travelers. I don't have much to add, but just have a plan. That's all. Credit cards, you can travel with cash and so forth. I believe we cover our, Kathy, I'm looking, lunches, right? Or is it?
All but two.
Yeah, okay.
All but
So
two.
we do
All the
cover-
dinners, breakfast, and every lunch but two when it's like a picnic thing.
Well, they're paying, we've already paid for that, right?
We pay. You will pay for two of your own lunches
On the trip.
on the trip.
Two
Everything
lunches
else
on
is
the trip.
picked up.
Yep. Now, let's use an Episcopalian word. We didn't say this last time. I'm tempted to turn off the video, but I won't. Hospitality. That's the Anglican code word for happy hour. Now, I want to be clear about this. We have some people that are coming on the trip that do not drink.
It's okay.
And you may not know who they are. We have other people
They
that
drink
quite
some.
look forward to a drink. The thing we all should be drinking the most of is water that we get at the hotel at the beginning of the day. So please do bring something with you for water. Do not drink anything on the street of Jerusalem, ever. Ever. Bottled, open, do not drink it. Coca-Cola is safer. Don't drink that either on the street. Do not buy fruit on the street. Do not eat meat from the street. Do not drink coffee from the street. Do not touch anything carbon-based to put in your body on the street in Jerusalem. We will be taking you to a hospital, I promise you. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Hotels are good, restaurants are good, ask Hanania. Other than that, don't do it. I've taken people to that hospital. Okay.
Same
On the
thing with
street, you mean-
Tiberius? Excuse me, same thing with Tiberius?
Tiberias and the west side of Jerusalem, in a restaurant it may be different. We're going to ask Hanania those things. And by the way, there's concierges at these hotels as well. They'll tell us as well. But when in doubt, don't. When in doubt, don't do it.
So, what about water? Water, if you cross at the hotel.
Hold
I'm
on,
sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If you bring a bottle, which you're suggesting that we do,
Mhm.
and we fill it up in the morning at the hotel.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that's a whole day with one bottle.
No, fill it up at lunch.
So we fill it up at lunch. We'll probably have some water on the bus,
Okay.
and so forth. That's fine. Hold on, Karen. Yes.
I set the water out of the faucet at the hotel. Is that okay?
I'm sure it's fine. We'll ask Hanani. Yeah, these are These are good hotels. What I'm talking about is the kid on the street who you're very hot and the kid on the street offers you a bottle of water. No way.
Yeah.
Coffee from the thing on the spout? No way. Bread, fruit, lemons on the street? No way. Do not do it. Nuts? Don't do it.
Nuts.
Don't do it.
Wow.
What's the matter with
Unless Hanania says differently, do not do it. That,
We're just not used to it.
that biochemical architecture is different than yours.
I guess maybe the
And
way
your
they
body
go.
won't know what to do with it.
Like Mexico.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same
like
place.
Mexico.
No, it's far worse than
Worse
Mexico.
than Mexico. Do we need to take antibiotics? Because, you know, you do that if you go to Mexico, they're,
I don't think, I mean,
prophylactic.
I think,
In traveling to these areas, I did a lot of traveling in Africa, took groups in. If you take the Pepto-Bismol tablets, and a friend of ours who's a doctor, he learned it from me. You take the Pepto-Bismol, the tablet that you dissolve, and if you do a couple Pepto-Bismol tablets before you eat a meal, that sort of coats everything, and even if there's something bad there,
Sure.
it's just great. So if you carry a couple Pepto-Bismol.
some people carry Pepto-Bismol, other people frankly carry, what's the anti-diarrhea medicine?
Oh, yeah.
Imodium. Imodium tablets or stuff like that, fine.
Imodium.
Look, we're not, the restaurants are not the issue.
It's a street.
The rooftop martini bar that some of us may visit in an off moment, not the issue. The issue is on the street, and I can't speak to Tiberius. I really don't. That's Hanani. Hanani will tell us. Antibiotics, Caroline? I really don't know what to say about that. I think you have to check a website.
I'll check with my doctor.
You usually carry them, the doctor always tells me, these kind of
Okay.
you carry the basic Z-Pack. And if you get in trouble,
Okay. Just have a plan on what to bring. That's all. Journals. Some of you are making notebooks. I think that's cool. Some of you have iPads. I think that's cool. I'm old-fashioned, but I just like to write. I like to sketch. That's how I drove on the bus. You know, impressions. I just like to kind of close the day sometimes, or just jot. If you like to do that, awesome. If you do it on your iPad, great. But I just like to bring a journal, just for contemporaneous stuff. So, St. George's has an excellent section on tech, adapters, and what's the other thing? Transformer? A converter. Now we're not talking religious, although we could get to that. A converter and an adapter. So check your tech.
And that was in the notes that she sent us. That's
That
all
Jenny
in that
sent us as
notebook.
well.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
notebook.
Yeah.
Father Brooks, there was a discussion about bringing a travel Bible. And I've been looking online. I don't know whether to get NIV or whatever. And I don't know if it's important to have Jesus' words in red. Could you just give us a little?
We were doing a study yesterday, and I said, why don't we look up this chapter? And someone did, and they said, oh, Jesus' words are in red. I said, that's awesome. Bibles are like cars or shoes.
Use your phone?
You have to pick the one that feels
And
best.
then you can pick the translation you want for the time.
NIV, NRSV.
Can we use our phone?
Good apps, you know, really good apps on your
Yeah.
phone.
I have an
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I would use.
$15
and it can
Yeah.
read to you, or you can read it.
Which app did you
Really
use?
pretty impressive.
Rob, would you be willing to email Kathy or I some app information? The other one that I really like, which is different, and we're trying to be different on this trip, is The Message by Eugene Peterson. It's not a translation, it's a paraphrase. And it's really great. So Sue, for you, I would say mix it up and download The Message. Okay. Did I say check your tech right? Everybody have your tech down? All right. The one thing I find about phones and stuff, and maybe it's because I have a teenage daughter and a young adult daughter, is what happens when you run out of juice. This doesn't run out of juice until I do. So just saying. Anyway, I've been sitting with Danny Hoffman, who is a native Israeli. I have downloaded WhatsApp. Has everybody heard of WhatsApp?
No.
WhatsApp.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, you
It's
want to get
one
that.
word. And evidently you can text and send photographs through any local Wi-Fi network.
You can call, use your phone.
Can you use the phone as well with WhatsApp?
Video, you can do video you go, Chad.
That's what it looks like.
So, some of you may want to do an international plan. I think I'm going to put an international plan on my phone for a month, but also WhatsApp. And I'll be able to talk to Danny back and forth easily, you know, half a world away.
So does the receiver have to have WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, yes.
No, the receiver has to have WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No, that's what I was looking for too.
Has,
Some
Rob, you used
downstairs
it,
in the
Pete? You
kitchen.
guys have used it, it's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
easy to use.
Absolutely.
Set it up before you go with somebody because you need to coordinate with them.
Yeah, you-
Contact them and get-
Anybody you're in
Yeah, you
contact
might,
with
yeah,
has
if
to
it's someone
have
you
it. That's-
wanna talk to, you wanna put them in your,
Contacts.
Contact.
And it'll ding them. Won't it ding them? Mine does, even if they don't have it, and they'll download it and then get it if they're in your contacts.
You know, oh, and by the way, put Kathy and Happy and I in.
Yeah, put us in,
WhatsApp,
once you
you know.
download WhatsApp, put us in. Or put us in anyway.
WhatsApp, APP.
I have it on my phone if anybody needs to see us.
Yeah, I have it on my phone too. Everybody with me? Helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's get on to the meat of it tonight. Which Holy Land are we visiting? Well, this is going to get into your expectation. What was my main question last time we visited about pilgrimage?
Why?
Why are you going?
Right.
This is a question about, and it's actually a scriptural question, who are you looking for? And what are we going to find? So this is about your expectations. I find that if I'm really honest about it, every picture I had about Israel in my head came from my children's Bible. My Florida Cracker English white bread children's Bible. Jesus wore a white alb and it never soiled with a light blue cover, which I finally realized that no man in first century and second temple period would be caught dead in that kind of covering. That was not a male, it was to reflect, the artist reflecting Mary, who's always pictured with blue and white. I didn't know that. Jesus was blonde with blue eyes. Nordic, Aryan as he could be. Push come to shove, that's my mental picture. And I had to go to Israel and go, oh my God, we are entering a different part of the world. No matter which Holy Land, you were stepping away from America, away from the West, away from Europe, into the Semitic world, the Middle East, the ancient Near East, the Levant, the Occident, whatever words you grew up with. Friends, it's a different world. That's why we go. The language is different, some of the assumptions are different. When we go, I'm going to introduce you to something called the Second Temple Period. The Second Temple Period is the period in which God chose to send His Son to be born in Bethlehem. You'll have to ask God yourself when you get there about why God chose this moment, one of the most turbulent moments in human history, in one of the most turbulent places in all of the world, for Jesus to be born then and there. My colleague, the Reverend Michael Richardson, who's coming, we have another priest coming, he's an awesome guy. He's coming to study incarnational theology, which is literally, why there? Why then? Why like that? So, this is called the Second Temple Period. You might intuit that there was a First Temple Period. Pretty cool, huh? Let's do our dating tree. Abraham, 2000 BC. We've got Abraham. He steps onto the stage of history in 2000 BC. Human beings have been knocking around for what? Before that, 98,000 years, something like that. I mean, all of history is quite recent. Noah, we can't date. Adam and Eve, hard to date, depending on where you grew up. Hard to date. Abraham, we've got it, 2,000. David, 1,000. Moses, 1350 BC. So we've got these biblical characters. It's really convenient. Abraham, 2,000. David, 1,000. Jesus, kind of 0. Everybody with me? The Second Temple period is those early years. People put it different times. Hanani, I think that booklet put it, if anybody has it. Herod started that Second Temple reconstruction, I don't know, around 30 BC, something like that, 25. And it lasts till 70 AD. This is the window, the pivot.
Herod did what?
Herod,
Yeah.
King Herod,
Yeah.
started reconstructing this magnificent, grandiose, ancient wonder of the world called the Second Temple. It was already there. Herod started reconstructing it as a public project. No slaves, he paid. I don't know the exact date. You have to look it up. But 30-ish, something like that. Before the Common Era, or BCE, you're going to see that dating as well.
The BCE is before Christ, correct?
No,
Before the Common Era.
But that's BC. It equals our BC, right?
There is a whole generation,
I know.
friends, welcome to our trip. There's a whole generation of completely secular historians that will not use BC.
I know, but isn't that what
Yes.
equals? Yeah.
BC or BCE, the
And then
same.
C is Common Era.
Herod's times was,
Herod was, yes, say it again, Sue, real loud.
37 BC to 70 AD.
I was close. 37 BC or BCE to 70 AD.
And that was the great earthquake.
Nope. Nope. The Romans were the great earthquake.
Have fun.
So,
They were.
So, 37 BC to 70 AD, we call that Second Temple period. This is the period where all the Gospels take place. This is the period, ostensibly, that we're going to go find. Because we need to meet Jesus there. Now, why am I saying that? The Second Temple period is about 25 meters below where we're going to walk almost everywhere.
What's a meter?
In the Middle East, you tell time by digging down. When you dig down, what do we find?
Okay.
There are a lot of rocks.
Have you read?
You will see
I'm reading
more
it.
stones than you have ever
What's the
seen in
source?
your life on this trip.
Because I'm reading it now.
I don't want to shock you, but most of the structures no longer
Well, I'm not
exist the
reading it.
way
I'm
they
listening.
did in the Second Temple
Yeah.
period. Everybody with me on that? I had someone go to Israel and come back and say, you didn't tell me there were so many damn rocks.
Because you talk to people.
I said, look, there's a lot of stones in the Middle East. We're going to go down, which means we dig, which means the rock stars of Israel are generals and archaeologists. They don't care much about prime ministers. They come and go. You find a good archaeologist, so you're going to hear names that you've never heard before. Kathleen Kenyon, the great British archaeologist. Yigal Yadin, who was prime minister of Israel. Before he was that, he was an archaeologist. Naaman Avigad, who excavated the city of David. These are the rock stars of Israel. And when you dig down, you go back in time. We're going to go into caves. We're going to go into reconstructions. We're going to see things reconstructed to look the way it was, but they weren't original. And so you're walking around going, where's Jesus? Down there. Not kidding. Everybody with me?
Did you say 25 meters?
Meters. Yes. Down. To go back to time travel in Israel, you have to go down. So, you're going to hear about the Oriel Institute and the University of Chicago. Has anybody ever been? to the Oriole Institute.
Yeah.
David Hunt and David wanted to go back twice. The guy is so unbelievably smart. So Oriole Institute was Americans that went to Israel, dug, picked up everything, brought it back to Chicago. Huge things. Who else dug, and brought it back?
The British.
The English, the stickiest finger people in the world. They will roll you and steal everything you have. The English, the British will take everything and bring it to London and then never give it back. If you want to go see the modern Middle East, go to the British Museum. There's a lot of it that's there. And they're not giving it back. They get asked every year. Don't get me started, I'm Scottish. Anyway, okay. There is also an unbelievable amount of material in the Israel Museum. We're going to tour the Israel Museum
Okay, I'd love to see
quickly.
that.
Then we're going to give you that extra day. Some of you might want to join me. It's rarefied air to come slow walk that museum. Okay? There might be just a few people here that get into this. We're going to go down. Okay? I'm not saying, I see one person whose eyebrows are up their head. You are not going to dig. That is not what we're doing. We're going to receive the benefit